talk about the Facebook ad setting that can hopefully get you more qualified coaching clients. See, here's the problem with Facebook ads is, well, number one, it's a great place to get clients, probably the best, but the problem is this. It's sort of like sitting down in the flight deck of a 747 trying to figure out how to turn it on and take it off, right? And get it up in the air, or a space shuttle. It's incredibly complicated. And so what a lot of coaches do is they take the advice in the Facebook Ads Manager because Facebook knows it's complicated. So what they do is they pre-select a lot of settings and stuff like that to simplify it to get you to run your ads faster. The problem is, you got to remember, Facebook's goals are a lot different than yours, okay? Your goal is to get qualified coaching clients. Facebook's goal is, in my opinion and from my experience, is to help get more optimized ads so that they get a good user experience and so on and so forth. You need to do that, but we also need to make sure your ads go to the right people, right? And so a lot of coaches just launch everything and they're like, nothing good happened, just broke everything, everything's bad. What do I do? So one of the things that you can do is you can override the placements. Now, this is very important, and this is a very, very big deal, especially if you don't have a lot of data in Facebook for getting coaching clients. So here's what I mean, okay? Let me talk about that. The first thing is there's three things that you need to understand, okay, about this setting that can hopefully help you get more qualified coaching clients. The first thing is there's multiple placements. What Facebook will do is, in a normal campaign, they're going to basically pre-select the fact that they want you to run your ad to all placements. Now, what does that mean? You're going to run your ad to Instagram. You're going to run your ad to mobile newsfeed, desktop newsfeed, the audience network, reels, videos, like the whole bunch of places, okay? Like they're just, your ads are going to go everywhere. Here's the problem with that. That's great for Facebook, and your people might be on Instagram, might be on Facebook, they might be everywhere, so on and so forth. The problem is what Facebook's going to do is they are going to decide where your budget gets spent. When you use all placements, they're going to basically be like, well, let's put 80% to maybe the audience network, and we're going to put a bunch of money over here. So they're deciding that, okay? It's a very big problem. Not only that, it's extremely hard to track conversions of like where are these people coming from, because their conversion tracking isn't very accurate. It's a pixel-based tracking. It's not 100% accurate. So what are you going to do, right? And so, did they come from Reels? Did they come from the audience network? Where are these people coming from? What's working? What's not working? Is the audience network bringing me worse qualified people than Facebook newsfeed? What about Instagram? You see what I mean? It gets very convoluted very fast, and your numbers might look really good, but you're like, nothing's showing up in terms of sales. Registration rates are low, and you have no idea what's going on. So this is a very big problem. So that's what happens, okay? Can all the placements work? Absolutely. Do we run some ads on all placements? We sure do. But you can't, in my opinion, you can't do it right away. So that's the first thing is, you understand Facebook has multiple placements and you need to override them. How and what do you do? We're getting to that. The second thing you need to understand is you have a pixel problem. Okay, what does this mean? Well, here's what it means. It's like when you're first starting out and maybe you've only got a small amount of people registered for your stuff, Facebook doesn't have a lot of data on who your ideal client is yet, right? So when you just run your ad, they're just going to run it to the people they think are qualified, which, they try, but you know who they are, okay? And so the problem is, you're not going to get qualified people, in my experience. So here's why. When somebody registers for your webinar, Facebook's going to pixel them, okay, and maybe track them, and they're going to track them. And then if you're finding people who based on your campaign objective, webinar registrations, for example, or conversions or whatever, that means Facebook's going to go into your audience and find people who look like the people who are registering for your webinar. If you have nobody who's registered yet, they're going to go all over these placements and just start finding people, and next thing you know, you get some garbage registrations and bad stuff happening and all that kind of stuff, and then it doesn't work. So you're setting yourself up for failure without even knowing it. So hopefully that makes sense. So what you want to do is, I'm going to get to the third one here right away and tell you where we recommend running your ads first, which placement. Before I get to that, what I need you to do is I need you to, somewhere around this video, click the subscribe button. Lots of videos coming down in production that I think are really going to help you. I spend roughly $1 million a year on Facebook ads and take all of the stuff I learned. I'm starting to put it on YouTube, just give it away for free to give you what we're doing, what we're learning, what tests were happening, all that kind of stuff, and hopefully it helps you. And really the only way you're going to find out about it is if you click the subscribe button, and the videos are free, okay? That way you're going to get notified. And then click the like button to make sure that I know you like this so I can send you more of these videos. Now, let's talk about where you want to, what placement you want to use. What we recommend is newsfeed only, okay? Newsfeed desktop and newsfeed mobile. Why? Here's why. We have found that the best quality of call bookings are coming off the newsfeed and have for a really long time, okay? And so what we do is you, in the ad set on your own campaign, we override the placements and we only run the ads on newsfeed, okay? Now, why is this important? Because we're going to force everybody to the news, or force our ad budget to the newsfeed. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give us one placement so that we can measure the quality, right? Because if they're going to Instagram and all over here, and I'm going to talk about why we don't do Instagram first or recommend Instagram first in a minute here. Okay, so I'll come back to that, right? Because you might be thinking, all my people are on Instagram. I got to run Instagram ads. Hold that thought, okay? And so we can then focus on the newsfeed. And when we're focusing on the newsfeed, we can track the quality, okay? The other thing is we found that the newsfeed, like I said, gives us the best quality, all right? Newsfeed desktop, newsfeed mobile. Now, desktop might be a little more expensive. They'll run some of your ads to the desktop and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's more money. It is. But desktop converts better because they're more qualified. Remember, somebody on desktop on Facebook is like on their computer and focused, right? Whereas somebody on mobile, they're a little more distracted, right? And so we have found that our conversions are better on desktop than mobile, but the problem is there's just not a ton of people on desktop. So we just run mobile and desktop, let Facebook figure it out, and they run about 90% of it to mobile and about 10% of it to desktop. So that's what we recommend. That's why we do it. And then once it's working and your pixel has a ton of registrations, like a couple hundred, 300, 400, 500 registrations, you have a lot of data now on who's registering. And at that point, you can start going into some of these other devices, okay? But we don't do it until then. And even then, you gotta be careful because every one of those devices, like Reels and videos and Audience Network and all that stuff, has different levels of quality. And you need to be able to track those because just cheap clicks don't equal qualified coaching clients, right? So what about Instagram, okay? Obviously, a lot of people use Instagram and there's ads on there. Here's what we found is the problem with Instagram, okay? When somebody signs up to Facebook as a user, they give Facebook everything. They're like, here's my birthday, here's where I worked, here's my education, like all that, upload all their photos. I mean, they just give them everything. And then Facebook can use that to profile the person, okay? And what that does is it gives us some really good data. So for example, when somebody registers, Facebook has a lot of data on that person, types of other places they're going, places, ads they click on, so on and so forth. And so it gives them a really good quality level, okay, of the data. And so when you run that pixel in the newsfeed, we find that the quality is really good. But here's the problem. When people are on Instagram, oftentimes they don't give a lot of data, right? They don't give a lot of data to Facebook, and it's a lot of hashtags and all of this. And so just running it into Instagram first before Facebook, we found that the quality is never, for us, and any tests we've done, never been very good. So what we recommend and what we do is get a lot of data on your pixel, a lot of webinar registrations first on the newsfeed, And then once you do that, create a separate campaign and try and run it into Instagram. And what we found there is that then it'll take the pixel data and find the people who look like the people who are on your pixel in Instagram. So it gives it a higher level of quality, and it gives it another level of opportunity to succeed, if that makes sense, right? And so they're going in there and they have all this data to find people who look like all these people who registered, and it increases the chance of success. So you can run both, but I personally start with Facebook, start with the newsfeed, get it converting, get it working, get lots of webinar registrations, then test Instagram, okay? But you've got to remember, cheap leads don't equal qualified coaching clients. And the other problem is you got to remember to optimize those ads. And this is the final problem, right? You might have one ad and Facebook's pushing it into all these placements. The ad is not optimized for all those placements. So it's not going to look good. It's going to look a little odd and stuff like that. So it's just not going to work as good. So remember, newsfeed first, get your pixel working, then test all these other ones, assuming you've got data, okay? Don't be in a hurry either. There's tons of people on Facebook. I've never seen a market yet anyways that was like, oh my gosh, we have to go to Instagram. Never seen it. I've seen everything I've ever seen can do really well on Facebook, and then as a test, head over to Instagram. But don't get sucked into cheap leads. Make sure they turn into qualified clients, all right, before you scale it up. All right, lastly, below in the pinned comment post, there's a link to an upcoming webinar I have on the 300-word ad template and the snowball system I use to get coaching clients. Like I said, I spend about $1 million a year on ads, and I want to share with you what I've been learning, what we've been doing, the metrics, what's working on that webinar. So click that link, head over to the page, and we will see you over there. Take care.